One fine morning, Celia and Rosalind visited a village fair on their way home from riding. There they met Lebeau, one of the Duke's courtiers. "Ladies, you're just in time," he declared. "The Duke has offered a purse of 50 ducats to any man who can throw his wrestle at Charles. 2 challengers have been carried away groaning. The last contender is a charming young fellow. Everybody wants him to win, but it's more likely that Charles will break his neck." Celia and Rosalind were intrigued enough to follow Lebeau to the wrestling ground. A crowd had gathered around a circle marked out on the grass. Within the circle stood Charles, whose powerful shoulders and flattened nose made him seem more like an ox than a man. Duke Frederick emerged from the crowd and walked over to his daughter and niece. He kissed Celia's cheek. Rosalind received the slightest of nods. "I'm glad you're here," said the Duke. "A brave but foolish young stranger insists on fighting my wrestling champion. I can't persuade him to change his mind, but perhaps you can. Fetch him, Lebeau. I must take my place in the judge's chair." The young man Lebeau presented to Celia and Rosalind was dressed in a dark green doublet and hose. He was tall and athletic, with a mass of blonde hair and clear grey-blue eyes. Rosalind felt giddy. "Do you really mean to fight the Duke's wrestlers, sir?" she asked. "I do, my lady," said the stranger. "I wish you wouldn't," blurted Rosalind. "You could be badly injured." "I wish you wouldn't too," Celia said. "Charles might ruin your handsome... you could be killed." The stranger smiled sadly. "I'm touched by your concern, ladies, but the truth is that I need that purse of ducats," he said. "If I'm injured or killed, so be it. I have no family or friends to care whether I live or die." "I care," thought Rosalind, and her heart went out to the lonely young man. A trumpeter blew a fanfare, and the stranger returned to the wrestling ring. "Begin!" Duke Frederick commanded. The wrestlers circled warily. Charles made several lunges, but the stranger evaded his grip, turning and sidestepping as gracefully as a dancer. Charles seemed lumbering in comparison, and the crowd laughed at him. The laughter angered Charles, and anger made him careless. In a move almost too swift to follow, the stranger seized Charles around the waist and threw him to the ground, where he lay dazed and winded. The crowd cheered wildly until Duke Frederick stood up from his chair and signalled for silence. "What is your name, young man?" he inquired. "I am Orlando, the youngest son of Sir Rowland de Boys, my lord," said the stranger. Duke Frederick curled his top lip like a snarling dog. "Your late father was my sworn enemy," he rasped, flinging a purse at Orlando's feet. "Take your money and go." He turned to a courtier. "Have Charles carried to a physician. Celia, come with me." The Duke stormed off with Lebeau in attendance. Celia, her face crimson with embarrassment at the Duke's behaviour, scampered after her father. The crowd melted away, and soon only Orlando and Rosalind were left. Rosalind stepped forward, unfastened a gold chain from around her neck, and held it out. "Will you wear this and think of me sometimes, sir?" she said. As Orlando took the chain, his mind went blank. "My lady, I, he gabbled. "I knew your father," said Rosalind. "He was a gallant gentleman." She reached up and brushed her fingertips against Orlando's cheek, then hurried off. What? Orlando thought. Who? Why? A word with you, sir, someone murmured. Orlando turned and saw that Lebeau had returned to the wrestling ground. Why is Sir Rowland's son wrestling at a village fair? Lebeau asked. Orlando sighed. My older brother Oliver refuses to share our inheritance, he said. He drove me out at the point of a sword and swore that he would have me murdered if I ever come back. You're no safer here, confided Lebeau. The Duke is in one of his black rages and means to do you mischief. Go to the forest of Ardennes and find Duke Senior. That's what I would do if I had the nerve. Thanks for your advice, friend, Orlando said. But before I leave, who was the dark-haired lady who spoke to me just now? The old Duke's daughter, Rosalind, Lebeau informed him. Rosalind, thought Orlando. A pretty name, a lovely name, a wonderful name. And all at once, the danger he was in did not seem to matter in the least.